What's up? What's up? Coach Tony here with College Admission Secrets. You're back for another free training here. And today you are in for a special treat. I have one of my amazing students here with me today. We're going to talk about her high school journey. We're going to talk about what she did. We're going to talk about now, like what she's doing now. And then I originally marketed this event as Tami's choosing between Duke and LA. We just chat a little bit beforehand. She's actually choosing between at least 10 or more schools. So she's being super humble when she told me those two, and the other schools she got in are equally as big names. So we're definitely excited to bring her on to share her journey and share what her choices are now. Right? I think definitely a really fun situation to be in. So without further ado, my special guest, we have Tami. Hello. Oh. Try one more time. Hello.
Hey, hi. Can you hear me now?
We can. Fantastic. Awesome. So if you want to go ahead and do a quick 30-second intro, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tami. I'm a high school senior, and I live in Kansas. Yes, it's a real state. I go to a medium-sized high school, and I met Coach Tony last summer. And I'm blessed enough to get into a bunch of amazing schools, and I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to go right now. But it's between UCLA and Duke, and I'm really happy to be here.
Super awesome as well. So throughout the next 30-ish minutes, we'll go ahead and just talk about Tami's adventure in high school. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just post it in the comments as well too. But we'll go ahead and get started. First, let's bring it back to we want to know what you did in high school. Right? That's always everyone's first question. What did you do in high school? Okay, so let's start with academics. How were you academically? What classes did you take? What grades did you have? Did you have straight A's? Because all the schools you got into, which we'll talk about in a bit as well too, they're really, really amazing schools. So you want to chat about your academics for a little bit?
Yes. Okay. So I would say I did get a lot of good grades. So I was and starting in elementary school, I was in the gifted program that my school has, and that gave me the opportunity to take accelerated math classes. And so starting in 5th grade, I started taking math 2 years ahead of where I was supposed to. And so that actually ended up me going in middle school, going to the high school to take math. And that actually counted towards my high school credits as well. But I did not get all straight A's. I know that's rare. If I'm getting into all these schools, I should get straight A's. I got 2 B's. One was in honors algebra 2, and the other was in AP calculus. And my school does not offer very many AP classes. And that was something I was really worried about when I was applying to college. We only offer 3 AP classes: AP calculus, AP statistics, and AP art. And so I am into art, but it wasn't something that I was that into to take an AP class in it. So I only ended up taking AP calculus and AP statistics. And then the rest of my course load was honors classes. I took honors English, honors history, and honors math, and then science. And then I also did a lot of dual credit through 3 colleges I did in my area. And so I ended up with 32 dual credit hours, since I didn't take any much AP classes. So that's how I got my rigorous course load. And then what else do I want to say? Oh, I also actually want to talk more about the fact that my school doesn't offer a lot of AP classes. I remember talking to Coach Tony about me freaking out about the fact that I knew a bunch of other people that went to really good schools that offered 50 AP classes, and they took almost all of them. It was what are colleges going to think when they find out I only took 2? But just keep into mind that colleges are paying attention to how you did in the opportunities that your school offered you. And so me taking 2 out of 3 of the AP classes that my school offers made me look good versus someone that their school has 50 AP classes and they took 10 maybe. So just keep that into perspective. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that that's perfect. I think yeah. So with your school, you say you only have three, and I was like, yeah, no, you take one, even two, even three. You look amazing compared to schools that offer a lot. And I think I did know about the dual enrollment. I think that's a lot of credits for dual enrollment. Can you talk a little bit about dual credits, the dual enrollment process? Was it easy to do at your school? Was it your choice? And talk about like compare those classes to the AP classes. How was it comparison to that?
Yes. So dual credit is not a very popular choice at my school, but my school does make it easy for some classes. So I did mostly dual credit in chemistry, anatomy, and then almost all my history classes were dual credit. And I also took college algebra and trigonometry as dual credit. And those were pretty easy to get through my school, actually. It's very common for like top students to do that. But I also got a lot of my other credits through special classes such as medical terminology, or I also took a CNA class through a community college, which gave me like 16 credit hours. And then I also took a phlebotomy class through my community college, which gave me like, I think 10 credit hours. And so just finding things that you're interested in your community college, like local community college, can really help. Especially like it will look good to college admissions. And then if it's a class that you actually really like, it's fun. Comparing that to my AP classes, I personally think that my dual credit classes were kind of easier than my AP classes. I think that I think it was just because it was high school teachers teaching it, and then my AP classes were teachers more certified in a way. But I ended up enjoying my dual credit classes more just because I felt like it wasn't as rushed as my AP classes, but I feel like it still looks as good as AP classes would.
Super. It's interesting you say it's not rushed because actually you're taking a full year and squeezing into a semester, right? For the dual credit classes. Yeah, so
Mhm.
technically it's supposed to feel faster, but it's the common trend I've talked to a lot of students. That's why I push dual enrollment so hard for a lot of students because it's for most students, 99% of students, it's actually easier than
Mhm.
AP. And those 30 units, 32 units that Tami took will all transfer, as long as she took the right classes, they'll all transfer to, if she goes to UCLA or any of the schools, they'll transfer out to all the schools as well, too. So that's super awesome. Cool. Awesome. Moving on to your activities. What things were you involved in high school? And then with that also, if you can talk about if you joined it or did it because of college or you did it because you enjoyed it. If you can talk about that as well too.
Yes. Okay. So my freshman year, I was like ready to join every single club my school offered because I was like, colleges would like this club. Like that was my mindset. And so my freshman year, I really overbooked it with the clubs I joined. And I regret that, and I changed that my sophomore year. So my sophomore year is when I actually got into the clubs that I wanted to do. And so the clubs I did, I was an athlete. I played varsity soccer and varsity golf, and so I did that. And I also played competitive soccer as well. And then I was part of National Honor Society sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I became a class officer my senior year. I'm the social media director. And then I also am part of National Art Honor Society. That was not too time consuming, but I really enjoyed painting. That's like my creative outlet. And so that was fun for me. I'm also a violinist in my school orchestra. I'm first chair. And so that took up a lot of my time because I also take private lessons. Um, what else do I do? I'm also part of a club called FCCLA, and that's just like a lot of volunteering for me, really. And a lot of the things I did, honestly, were outside my own time. I founded a school club for that I'm really passionate about. It's called the Student Association of Diversity. I go to a predominantly white school, and so we have very little people of color. And so I just made a club to that was like for the few people of color we have, and we volunteer in underprivileged communities and have cultural events and stuff. And that was really fun for me because I'm passionate about it. I didn't do it to put on my college application. I honestly wanted to do it for myself and my school community. And that's the thing with all the clubs I did. I was kind of all over the place, as you can see. I was in music and athletics and art and everything, but that's like because I'm the kind of person that just has those interest in everything. Like I didn't join robotics club because I'm not into robots, and I didn't join what other clubs did I not join? Because I didn't join there's this, sorry, I'm trying to think what other clubs my school has. But what I'm just saying is that don't join clubs that you're not into because it'll feel like work, and you should be having fun with what you're doing. And don't do anything just because of college admissions, because when it's time for you to write essays about what you're doing, they're going to see that you're not passionate about it. And what's the use of that?
No, I definitely love and I agree with everything you said as well too. It's definitely people who do things like, oh, this will look good for admissions, right? As a reader, we can tell, right? We can tell based on how you write versus that project that Tami created, right? I'm pretty sure the reader could tell, like, wow, she's really invested in it. She took her own time, spent more hours doing it, which I'm curious about to poke a little more on that of like what was that thing that caused you to start that? I know you're passionate about it, but like a lot of students ask me like, how I don't know what I'm passionate about. So if you can kind of talk a little bit like kind of what sparked it for you or what started the whole thing, and then you, like how you went down that road.
Yes, of course. So I actually started it. It was over the summer that I started it officially. It was right after the Black Lives Matter protest and stuff, and I was just like seeing how my classmates were like responding to that. And I was kind of disappointed in some of the things that were happening in that. And so it made me like realize like how a lot of the people in my school community are like kind of like in this bubble, closed-minded bubble. And I kind of wanted to do something to fix that. And so me and my friend actually co-founded this, and its purpose was to like spread awareness about like the struggles that POCs go through. So it wasn't only a club for people of color. We had a lot of white students in it as well, just to educate and people that were allies and things like that. And that was like one of our, that's like why I felt inspired to do it, because I just wanted to change that mindset in my school community. And then it actually got pretty big, and my superintendent recognized it, and he wanted me to make it on a bigger level for my district. And through meeting with like a bunch of high people up in my school district, I got my school to create an inclusion statement that we didn't have before, or we did have one, but it was very broad and not that good. And so I'm happy that I was able to at least create that before I left, since it was only a thing for a year. But I'm happy that I still got to make that impact in my school. And it's not something I'm just going to quit when I go off to college. I'm actually going to still be part of the committee because it's something I'm passionate about. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I think the big thing, another big takeaway from this as well too, is because Tami did something she's interested in, right? It isn't. Did any time did that feel like work to you, like this whole thing?
No, it didn't. It just felt like I was just doing something to better myself and my community. And so it just felt like kind of like it wasn't work, but it was like my calling in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is like what college is looking for are two things, right? One is commitment to something, right? I'm sure you spent a lot of hours doing that stuff, right? But if you're doing a lot of things you don't like, so think back, like some of you might not like base examples. You don't like washing dishes, don't like mowing the lawn. Say if I make you mow the lawn for 20 hours a week, it's like, I don't want to do this. But if whatever, like for Tami, she found a project she loves, she probably spent 20 hours a week doing stuff like that. But it never felt like work, and she enjoyed. She would do more hours if she can, if there's more hours in a day. And I think that's how you easily show commitment and that leadership, starting something new, right? That leadership component. Those are like two key things for activities in like any of the college admission process. So that's super awesome for you. All right, so that's amazing. Definitely, you can see why you got into all these amazing schools. So let's flash forward to senior year now, right? So it's September, October now. It's college admission season right now. We have a bunch of juniors here in this group, so they're about to go through this in a few months. I think any advice that you went through, that you now that you've gone through it, you want to give advice to the upcoming junior class?
Yes. My advice is to start thinking about like what you want to write about early. I was I know this is like kind of weird to say, but COVID kind of like helped me in like creating like so much time for me to like work on my essays, because that like time, like that's like before that summer is when I really started like thinking of like what I should write about and stuff. But I also want to tell you not to stress. Like I was stressing out so much, and I feel like honestly, now if I could go back, I wouldn't have stressed as much, and I've still gotten the same results. Um, for me personally, the essays did take like the most time for me, and so I would just say like start thinking about like who you want to write your recommendation letters, because I actually like emailed mine like really late on in the process, and that probably was really inconvenient for my teachers. But I would tell you to like start like establishing those relationships and thinking of who you want to write it. And then also just like start thinking about what you want your essays to be about. Like look up what schools that you're interested in and what their supplements usually are. They don't change very much over the years, so they're probably accurate. And just like start brainstorming now and save yourself some time.
Super awesome. You told me all the schools that you got into. Can you share a few of those names and then kind of why you chose those schools? Because your list for someone from Kansas looks a little interesting, looks very wild kind of thing. If you want to share kind of why the school that you applied to and kind of why you chose those schools as well.
Yes. Okay. I'll start off like on the West Coast. I applied everywhere. So on the West Coast, I applied to 4 UCs. I applied to UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, and UC Santa Barbara, and I got into all four. Then moving on, I applied to the University of Oregon. I applied to Northwestern, that's like by Chicago. I applied to Purdue University, and then I also applied to Washington University in St. Louis. It's known as WashU. I applied to Duke. I applied to Johns Hopkins, and yes, I believe those are like the top ones. And I got into all of those. I ended up applying to a total of 18 colleges, and I got rejected from 2, Stanford and USC. And so as I said before, I do live in Kansas, and in my school, no one ever leaves the state. So when I was telling my counselors like what colleges I was applying to, they thought I was crazy, and they were like, "You maybe should just go to the state college." And I was like, "No, I'm leaving. I'm going out of state." And so why I chose to apply to UCs, which is kind of random. As I said, I live in Kansas. I just remember like visiting California, and I just left the state, and just like I watched a lot of vlogs, and so I just love the vibe, especially at UCLA. That's why it's one of my tops. I just love the campus. I love the vibes, and obviously they have amazing programs everywhere. And then some of the schools I applied on the East Coast, like Johns Hopkins and Duke, I did not even think I would get into there, but I'm a pre-med. I'm planning on going on the pre-med track, and so I know they have amazing pre-med programs, and so I'm just deciding between all of those. And yeah,
That's incredible. That's so many amazing. I think you listed off like almost everyone's dream schools in your list already that you got into. So that's amazing. So let's bring it back. Senior year, we met through TikTok. Is that correct? If you want to share a little bit how we met from TikTok and kind of share how I helped you, if I helped you in any way with this whole college admissions process.
Yes. So I remember like I was like scrolling through my For You page, and Coach Tony, he was like promoting his like unfair advantage class, and I like saved the TikTok, and I was like, I'm gonna do that because he was promoting like how to like prepare for the UC application, and I had like I had no experience like on how the UC system application worked. Like I didn't even know that it was one application. I thought I had to apply to all 4 of these separately up until I joined the program. And so after when I started going to his streams and stuff, he taught me so much about the UC GPA. He taught me like what the essay should be about, really, like what essay readers want to hear, what they don't want to hear, and that really helped me when I was determining like what topics I would talk about for each one I chose. And then like I pretty much, that just helped me so much, and I honestly think that's like one of the reasons why I got in, because it just helped me like perfect my essays. And then after that, I was part of like his online community, and that fall of 2020, I applied to be one of his interns for the Unfair Advantage, and I got in, and it was such a fun experience. I was part of the I was part of that, and it was just really fun. And I got close with Coach Tony, and I just like tell him about like all of these things happening in my life, and yeah.
Super awesome. I think definitely you've come a long way from there as well too. So I'm super proud of your successes. So let's kind of finish today with like what's now. So now you're deciding between Duke and LA. So let's think out loud. I'll do some live coaching as well too for you. So we're gonna talk through a little bit as well too. So your final 2 is Duke and LA. So right now, feel free to kind of talk about why you want Duke and kind of why you want UCLA. We can kind of give you some live coaching right now.
Yes, great. I need that. So I am a pre-med major, and so I plan to go to medical school after my undergrad. And so I'll start with like the pros of Duke right now. Duke has one of the best pre-med programs in the country. If I do go there, I just love like the work hard, play hard mentality. Like it has really good academics, but like I'm still gonna be able to have fun. And then also, if I go there, they have a really good, they have like an 85% rate of their pre-med students going to medical school. And that's much better than the national average, which is like, I think 30%. And so I know that that's really good. And I have a good chance of getting into Duke Medical School. And so that's the pros for Duke. Cons for Duke, it is expensive, but I do know that they're really good at negotiating financial aid, which is what I'm in the process of right now, just sending emails between my financial advisor right now. And then going over to UCLA, they're not as known for their pre-med, but I know it's like, I've loved that school for so long. It was like my dream school in middle school, and so I was like, it's always going to be a top for me. This has a special place in my heart. There is a lot of cons, unfortunately. It's a really big school, and so I know that it will be hard to connect with my professors as much as I'd want to when it comes to getting research opportunities, or it comes to writing letters of recommendation when it comes for me to apply to medical school. But I do know that since it's such a big school, there's a lot of resources and that I could utilize, and so I'm just trying to figure it out. So
I am unmuted. Let's try one more time. So let's go ahead, just talk it through a little bit. So one, Duke has an amazing medical school program. I think you'll definitely, I think either school, they both have pretty good medical pre-med programs, right? And the thing to keep in mind about pre-med programs is not a major in itself. You're still going to major in something else, whatever that thing is, but you're going to be having a pre-med track, right? Means so if you're like a bio major, for example, a lot of the classes will double dip. That's why a lot of people are bio majors, because double dips. You could be like a art major, for example, or a music major as well, too, like hypothetically, right? But you just gotta like do kind of major fields kind of thing. So that's one. The financial aid for Duke is very expensive, right? It's one of those top tier schools with lots of money. But you mentioned negotiating, and I think that's the benefit of private schools, right? Public schools, you can't really negotiate. They don't have money to negotiate. So usually their first offer is pretty close to their best offer, right? But with private schools, though, a lot of schools have like millions, if not billions of dollars of like financial aid money, scholarship money they can give you. So two things will fast. One is because you got into these schools, some schools might have a special like alumni scholarship now. So homework for you, go check your admission portal and see if there's like a scholarship option now. A lot of students miss this, but once you get into a school, they give you like a 2-week window to apply to like a special, like you got in scholarship for a little bit of extra money. So check that at all the schools that you apply to. Two, negotiate financially 100%. I know John Hopkins had a really good offer, and I definitely recommend using that, pitting that school against the other school, even though that's not on your radar, right? You have the leverage of that letter saying, hey, John Hopkins gave me this much. I have this. I do have a template also. I'll send it to you after so I can help you email Duke much faster that way too. So I have a template, so just use that, copy, just edit your information on there and send that. It'll definitely help. So definitely that's an awesome way there. The other route, yes, UCA is really big, and I think a lot of schools are big, but the big thing you want to keep in mind is that with any university, once you're in it, you're going to create your own mini community there. Right. So once you're in there, you're gonna find, so every school, a lot of schools are big, especially like the public schools, they're huge, right? Like 30,000 people, especially I'm sure Kansas doesn't have 30,000 people in a school kind of thing. So big culture shock there, but just know that in every big school, there's small communities. You're gonna find your little group of folks if you choose UCLA to hang out with and to like bond, and that'll be a mini family away from home. Right, so you'll find that, and I have a bunch of friends also who went to UCLA to pursue med school as well too. So if you do go down that route, let me know, and I have a few friends I can refer you to. They all gone to top medical programs across the U.S. basically. Yeah, so if you go that route, I know a lot of UCLA grads who went on to med school after as well. And something that you reminded me of from all those students is that and this is just a general advice also, it's like a life advice in general also, like don't feel pressure to speed through the whole process, or you have to follow the generic path of like the doctor route. Like my two friends who did really, really well, they both took gap years, right? And it's definitely one of those things like, no, I want to get my bachelor's and go straight to medical school and go finish and be a resident and all that stuff, but it's okay to take a little breather. And both of them, they could have gone to their med school right away. They had like a almost perfect score, MCAT scores for both of them, really high GPAs at UCLA, which is hard as well too. But it's one of those like, I knew they were getting burnt out, right? UCLA is very competitive. Same thing with Duke. When you go there, it's going to be very competitive as well too, right? All these schools are competitive, especially in the pre-med field, right? So it's okay to take a breather. And actually what I found out is actually a lot of students do take gap years. So that's actually a normal thing. It's just that society doesn't tell you it's a normal thing. But if you do choose that route, let me know. I have a few friends who actually went to UCLA, and some of them are med school. Some of them are actually done with med school as well too. So I can hook you up with that.
Yes, please. Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Any other things you're worried about in the college process, or things that's on your mind right now?
Location used to be like, I never used to care about location, but recently my family has been going through a lot of stuff, and so location is kind of something for me. But well, my two options are both on the other side of the country, and so I guess it doesn't really matter. No matter where I go, I'm gonna be far. Another thing for me is not only academics, is also like just having a good balance of social and academics, because I don't want to work too hard, or I also don't want to play too hard. So I think UCLA and Duke are like one of my tops because they have like a perfect balance of those two. And so
for sure, I think something we talked about off camera a little bit before this is you actually visiting the schools also this week.
Yes.
Right. And I think something I told you I'll share with everyone as well too is that with all my seniors who got into their schools, I'm like, just visit the school now. Now that you got in, you see the schools differently. right? Like I know some folks, they visit the school like their freshman, sophomore, junior year. It's a different experience because like you're just checking out the school. You're probably meeting with an ambassador who's gonna tell you like this goes amazing, right? But now that you got in, you're gonna see it. If you visited UCLA and Duke before, you're gonna see it so much different now because now you're thinking, oh, would I sit in that library? Would I be eating lunch there? And you see it from a different perspective, which is amazing, right? The other feedback for you as well too is I would connect with alumni or people who are in those two schools and ask them what they hate about that school. Right?
I
I would ask them.
did that with Duke, but I haven't been able to find anyone for UCLA, so I'm probably going to reach out.
I have a lot of friends. I'll connect you with a few students. But I think for me, you want to ask them what they hate about it because what someone doesn't like about it, you might like is not too bad, right? Like Berkeley, what I asked you, what didn't you like? It's dirty. There's tons of hills. Those are like the two big ones, and it's hard, right? And I was like, okay, any school's gonna be hard. That's not really normal. It's dirty. I can live with dirty, and the hills exercise is what I said. So I'm like, it's not too bad, right? And so and for me, I rather talk to students. I don't like the ambassadors. They're great people. They're great. They're doing the job, right? But no ambassador is gonna tell you that the school sucks.
Yeah.
Right. So you want the truth. You're gonna be here the next 4 years, anyways. So you want to enjoy your time there. So you want to talk to real students who give you the real, like, this is what really happens here at UCLA. This is what really happens here at Duke, kind of thing. And you once you understand what the worst can happen, you're like, oh, I can live with that. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Something else for you during your tours is hang out a little bit in their downtowns or their city. Kind of thing. Also, a lot of people don't think about this part of it, but when you're in these 4-year schools, right? Yes, you'll be on campus, but you'll also be hanging out with your friends and community off in the city itself as well too. Like UCLA has like really drive out, boom, the city's there. It's a different vibe there. Same thing with Duke. Every college has that college town, right? See if you like that experience there. Because I know I've been to all the UC, every downtown or their like city feels so different, unique from one another, right? Like Santa Cruz is in the forest, the school's in the forest, their downtown's in the beach, right? Berkeley is very mom and pop. You can't find any commercial chains there, right? UC is the complete opposite. You see only commercial chains, no mom and pop places there as well too. Irvine feels very like corporate, right? There's an In-N-Out right there, and that's it. So also look at the city where you're gonna be hanging out and see would I enjoy hanging out here as well too. Yeah, so that's definitely when you go on your tour, I think you will come back and say, "Oh, Coach Tony, that's the school I want to
go to." I hope so.
Awesome, cool, awesome. And closing, let's do a fun thing as well too. Since you've gone to all 4 years of high school, can you give a tip of advice? Actually, 2 questions. So this is the first one. Tip of advice for each of the grades. So 9th grade advice, 10th grade advice, 11th grade advice.
Okay. Freshman year. Okay, freshman year, I would say that take your time to find what you really like. Finding what clubs you like. It's okay if you start out with a club and then you end up like not liking it. It's okay. You have time to join a new one and still build up and get a leadership position later on. But freshman year, you can use that year to explore your choices. And so do that and don't stress out too much if you don't like what you're in right now, because you have the rest of high school to change. Sophomore year, I know this is unpopular opinion, but sophomore year was like the most stressful year for me. Like it was even like more stressful than junior year. But I would say don't stress out. Like your grades are a little bit more important now than it was last year. And so start developing your study habits. That's what I would say. Junior year, just start like developing relationship with your teachers. You should do that your sophomore year as well. Sophomore and junior year, developing good relationships with your teachers and focusing on your grades. Colleges are going to look a lot at your sophomore and junior year grades. So just really hunker down those grades. And do you want me to do senior year as well? I'm still kind of in it.
Sure, if you want, like the first half. Let's just say
okay. The first half. The first half was kind of busy for me. I was doing like submitting all my college apps, just finishing them up. I had a job. I just see your first half of senior year was kind of stressful for me personally. But just know that it gets better the second half. For me, I'm just like kind of cruising by. Senioritis really kicked in, especially like once you get into whatever college you're gonna go to, you kind of stop caring. But don't stop caring. Still try to get good grades and stuff, but just know it gets easier.
For sure. And my tip for you, the second half of you, is I would enjoy you. The hard work is done, right? The hard work is done. You're in. So make sure you pass your classes now. Don't fail. You might lose. Fun fact for everyone: if you actually fail a class, you might get your acceptance taken back. So don't fail. Just do well. But I think for me, for a tip for you, just enjoy the rest of your senior year. You only have one final, like one senior year, so enjoy it the best you can. And all this craziness in the world, but try do your best, enjoy it, and you're gonna have amazing next 4 years. Final question though for you. So we have a lot of parents who are undecided if they want to work with Coach Tony or not. So if a parent's on the fence of like, should I reach out to Coach Tony or not? What advice do you recommend to them?
Definitely, definitely do it. My parents weren't even aware that like I signed up for your your unfair advantage thing. But like when I started like going to your live streams and I was telling them everything I was learning, and they were like, this is like for free. Like, are you sure you're not paying for it? And I honestly think that you should do the VIP service. Like I kind of wish I did that. But I just did the free version. But I know that like anyone that did the VIP learned so much, and their essays were probably this top tier as well. And so definitely go for Coach Tony. Like you'll learn so much, and you'll be successful in your college admissions journey, like I was. So.
Super. Thank you so much for the nice words. And that's it. So thank you everyone for tuning online. If you're watching the replay, feel free to leave a takeaway in the comments. This has been an amazing Tami. I'll update everyone on what she ends up deciding. You have until May 1st, by the way, so you have 3 weeks until you have to decide which one. But either one you pick, LA or Duke, you're going to go to an amazing school next year. So congrats to you. Good luck on everything. We'll definitely keep in contact and chat as well, too. And everyone here watching, have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys in the next video.